Hey everybody, and there was another review that I was gonna put up before this one, but I just have to do this one like right away, and I want to talk to you guys about because I just saw it. I want to talk to you guys about Psycho Goreman. This is written and directed by Steven Kostansky. And if I'm butchering the name, I'm totally sorry because I'm terrible at remembering names and actually doing the right thing when it comes to actually talking about people that star in it. But he did The Void, and he's done a bunch of other little shorts. I think BioCop is one of his shorts as well. This movie I was really hyped for, and I think that because there's a lot of people around me that really wanted to see this movie as well, it got me even more hyped for this movie, to the fact that I was making, my little things, my little memes about the movie that I've been putting over on the Instagram. And I'm going to say this right now, across the top, there's going to be minor spoilers in this because I want to talk specifically about the things I really liked about the film and the things that I didn't like so much about the film, maybe that they could use a little bit of improvement. But it really does feel like a trauma film because it's very low budget, right? And they did a lot with the budget that they had. I don't know exactly what it was, at least off the top of my head, because this is like right after coming from watching the movie. And it's weird because normally this would be like in the car, right? The old car reviews that I was doing for a while that we had. But that was because, we could actually go to a movie theater and see a fucking movie, but we can't right now. So just came from downstairs to watch from watching it. And I gotta say that in general, I really like this movie. It was a lot of fun. It was very playful. It's definitely in that horror comedy realm. It's not quite like what I was expecting. The one thing I guess I would say that, with a name like Psycho Goreman, I was expecting a little more gore, and there was some really good. It started off really, really good with that in mind, and then it just kind of went away. A couple decent scenes, but it wasn't anything that I was really expecting, crazy. And again, I'm going to keep referring back to this, but like trauma levels of gore. And I didn't quite get that. But your opening scenes, like there's one with these robbers in the beginning, and not necessarily the two, but what happens to the other guy, that is absolutely amazing. And even how it finishes up, it's so good. So I want to just go through a couple of the negatives, and then I'm going to talk about everything that I fucking like in this movie, because the negatives are very few and far between as I've watched this movie. The main ones is the casting or how the main kid is, Mimi. I just did not like her. Like, I wanted to see something happen to her, and overall, you feel like there's going to be this like moralistic story that is kind of deep rooted inside of this, because it almost feels like it could be like a Saturday morning, live action thing, like almost like a Power Ranger episode, and then at the end, the bad guy or the bad person or the kid that's the troubled kid is going to learn something at the end of this, and I don't feel like she learned shit. Like, she's the same fucking person she is from the beginning of the fucking movie to the end of the fucking movie, even though she has, like, a point, her character arc has something that happens at the end of the movie, but I feel like it's still not anything. The second thing is actually the interaction of the mother and father. Like, I could have done without it. It didn't really add anything to the film, and even by the end of the film, it didn't feel like it was worth it with something that happened with the mom. I just didn't feel like it needed to be in there. Why are we going to do this? Why are we going to focus on this? Is Psycho Goreman going to bring everybody together? It's all going to be one big happy family at the end of it. Fuck that. I don't need that shit. And then the last thing I would say is the third act of the movie. I think the third act is the weakest part of the movie. And even though there is a very fun ending to the film, and there is a fun sequence that leads up to it, especially in the sword, I'm going to say. I don't want to give it away, but into that, I thought was really good. But everything kind of leading up to that little section of the movie, I didn't feel like it was good at all. I just, like, it dragged during that part, and I really wanted it to be more. But the first and second acts of this movie are fantastic. So, like, if there was Anything else that I would say about this that I would give it, if I had to give it like a lower, or say more of my dislikes, there's not much else because I feel like the acting is pretty good for what it is. I think the effects are really great. And I think that overall, the story is still pretty good, even if the third act falls apart. So what did I really like about this film? Number one, practical fucking effects and the costumes. They are so good because remember, we're dealing with a cosmic alien being here, and he is out, from his years of slumber, getting ready to go kill everybody. So I expected it to be more like, I don't know. Like, I thought that maybe there was going to be stuff that was happening around Earth, and, they got him up, and she was going to use him to do, some type of like vengeance against kids or something like that. But we get to see all these different galactic beings, and there's some really great sequences when they're trying to explain Psycho Goreman's past that are fantastic. And I love all the costumes. When you see like the Cosmic Council, all of those costumes are great. They don't move very well, but the design is fantastic. And I especially love the guy that has like the glass helmet on. It's such a cheesy fucking costume, and it reminds me of Turkey in a way. But it's so fucking great. And the fact that they can get these like facial expressions out of that, it's just fantastic. And the, even if the mouthing doesn't move very well, they're very ingenious. I really enjoy the designs of all the costumes. And in fact, Psycho Goreman kind of looks the most plain out of everybody, but it really does feel, and I mentioned this already, like a Power Rangers type thing, like the way the costumes are, when you see Goldar and he's back there and he's talking and his mouth barely fucking moves. That's the way these costumes are, but they're so good. I really enjoyed seeing that stuff. Set design is great for when they go out to those places. Again, doing a lot with very, very little. The gore, when you see it, it's really good too. That part of at least what you see lives up to its name. And Psycho Goreman that's the reason to watch it is the performance. And I'm sorry if I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, without pulling up a phone and giving it to you. But, he makes the movie and really his interaction with the kids, but it's not in that, it's a fish out of water story, right? But it's not quite that, because he's always scheming to get back his little like magic stone that is going to allow him to go and kill all of the light in the universe. And that's where I really enjoyed it, was the interactions there. When he when the scenes with the cop, and if you've seen it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They're the best. I don't know if you've ever heard of a podcast called Scared to Death, but these guys, it's a comedian and his friend, comedian's Dan Cummings, and they have this character named Brad that they do that just can't stay upright, and he's always going, "Whoa!" Like that's the way they do the voices. And just every time that guy came on the screen, that's all that was in my fucking head the entire time, which made that so much better than I thought it was going to be. But it was great. And there's also the thing with the friend, and what happens to him and everything that goes on with that afterwards, which is it's so funny because it just eventually happens. Like one guy passes him and he doesn't seem to give a shit of what's there. It's really just like when it hits, and I've not laughed so hard at a horror comedy in quite some time. And there were plenty of times in this movie where I was just busting up laughing and possibly waking up the neighbors and everybody else around. It's just such a fun time as you watch the movie that if you're into it, you're into it. If you may have overhyped yourself, maybe it's not going to be as solid as you want. And I'd almost say give it a second watch. Right now, I just rented it. I didn't want to buy it on digital because I kind of want to go and get a physical Blu-ray when it comes out. Or if they make like a Steelbook version, I will happily buy a Steelbook version of this movie. But in general, you know, I just feel like I need to watch it once or twice more because I got like 2 days worth of rental, and just really enjoy it and see if there's anything else that I missed the first time that I can see the second time. I'm almost ready to go back downstairs and just fucking watch it again because I'm so excited about watching this movie. So yeah, if I'm gonna give the movie a rating, it's gonna get 4 out of 5 Brain Boys. It's just so much fun. I think that if you've been waiting to see this movie, that you're going to really enjoy it. And your mileage is going to vary on how well or how big you... Maybe that's not the right words I want to say. But it's really going to depend on how much you can stand the practical stuff that's being going on and how kind of cheesy it is. And it really kind of depends on how you accept the costumes in this movie, because it is a really big Power Ranger feel in the way that the costumes are designed. Even though they're evil, even though they're horror, it still feels like that in the way that they move and the way the mouthing moves and all that stuff, like I've said before. But I really felt that it really added to the film and for what the film was. And, this is just one guy's opinion about a really crazy, independent, fantastic horror movie. So I definitely recommend that you guys go out and watch it. And thank you very much. If you like the content that has been on this channel, and I'm going to try to make sure that it maintains itself up there, make sure that you go like and subscribe, hit the little button down below, and let me know what you thought about Psycho Goreman. Was it what you were hoping it was going to be? Did you think that maybe it was a little overdone? Do you think it was a little overhyped maybe by some people? Just let me know. What were your experiences with the movie if you got to see it? So thank you guys very much. Don't forget to check out the podcast. Most recent episode is going to be on Willow. I know it's not horror, but it's a movie that I've wanted to talk about for a long time. So we're going to talk about fucking Willow, because that's what we're going to do. But yeah, so don't forget, and also go follow the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TerribleTerrorPodcast. We do a weekly watch party, and then I try to do a couple other things every so often. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time on one of these little horror reviews. See ya.